makers, it's Bree from Minerva. Today I am here to talk all about high value patterns. So I am a huge indie pattern nerd and I've had so much fun looking through our catalog of patterns and identifying some must-haves for your pattern collection. Now before I jump into how I settled on these 7 patterns, I wanted to let you know that I will be linking all of the patterns and the fabrics below so you can check out all the details and see some additional inspiration from makers who have sewn up the patterns and the fabrics. These posts often contain tips and tricks so you can really get an idea of the pattern options or like how the fabric moves. It's a really great feature, so definitely check out those product links. Right, so I defined high value in a couple of different ways. I wanted to highlight timeless silhouettes that you could return to season after season that could really become staples in your sewing practice. So my first category of patterns are ones that have a lot of variations, so different silhouettes and details to choose from that you can mix and match. And then I have a couple of wardrobe essentials, things that can be made in a variety of different fabrics and fit any occasion. And lastly, I have a couple of patterns that teach interesting new sewing skills. So I love an out-of-the-box sewing technique, and these ones are really great for leveling up your sewing game. To start us off with patterns with lots of variations, I have the Protea from Megan Nielsen. This is a whole capsule wardrobe, all in one envelope. We have a top and a skirt, so they can either be made as separates or you can put them together as a dress. The blouse or bodice comes with a scoop neck or a nice squared neckline. Both are finished with a top stitched facing. There's options for a short sleeve or a nice little flutter flounce sleeve. The skirt is gathered in with elastic and a drawstring at the waist. It also comes with an optional ruffle tier. When you put the two together, the bodice and the skirt, you can swap out the elastic for a drawstring to cinch it in, or you can gather the waist of the skirt just into that bodice for a casual smock style dress. So between the sleeve, the neckline, the waist, and the skirt, there's tons of options for sewing up a whole capsule wardrobe. The Protea comes in sizes 0 to 20, so that is for hips 34 to 48 inches. It is an advanced beginner pattern with a 2 out of 5 skill rating. So the construction is pretty straightforward. It's a really good one for expanding your skills if you've just got a couple of garments under your belt. You'll want to look for light to medium weight woven fabrics. So cotton and linen are really great, steady options that are going to showcase the style lines and give some structure to the design. Now, drapier fabrics like viscose and tencel can be a little slipperier to sew, but they give a really nice, like swishy, soft vibe that's also great for the Protea. I have chosen this beautiful Minerva exclusive print. It is on one of my favorite fabric bases. So the print is called Wildflower Fusion. It is printed on a linen viscose blend, which is one of my favorites. This one is 55% linen and 45% viscose. So it's got like all of the wonderful body and structure of a linen plus the drapiness of a viscose. And the colors in here are so gorgeous. It's got this bright lilac background and you've got pops of like the pinks and the blues in here. I think this would be so great made up in any of the Protea variations, but I really think it's calling out to be a dress with like that extra ruffled tier on the skirt. It's just so perfect for like swishing and twirling around in. Next up, I have the dress pattern to end all dress patterns. It is the Charm Patterns Night and Day dress. This pattern comes with options to make 72 different dresses. The Night and Day pattern features vintage-inspired silhouettes, and the tagline on the package says, "The pattern that takes you from ingenue to femme fatale," and I absolutely love that. Like, what a vibe. So the dress pattern comes with 2 necklines, 3 skirt options, and lots of sleeve and collar variations as well. We have a pretty boat neck as well as a chic square neck for the bodice. For the skirt, you can go full with a circle skirt or a dropped yoke skirt, or you can opt for the fitted gored trumpet skirt. There are 6 sleeve options to choose from as well as 2 optional collars as well. It's definitely a pattern where you can kind of play with how much of that vintage inspiration you want in your final garment. So you can go like all in with like that trumpet skirt and the sailor scarf, or you can just keep it simple, like a little nod to vintage styling with a square neck bodice and that full circle skirt. The night and day dress has a skill rating of 3 out of 5, but it does depend on which options you are looking at. So there's an option to just do a facing, which is a pretty simple finish, or you could flex your skills and do a full or partial lining for your dress. So I'd say even as a beginner, there are like jumping off points within the pattern that make it really workable. The printed charm patterns come in US sizes 2 to 20, so that is hips 36 to 54 inches. The night and day dress also comes with separate pattern pieces for different bust shapes, so it's a really great starting point for getting a good fit. For fabrics, lots of types and weights of woven fabrics can work for the night and day dress. So certain fabrics may be better suited to different variations. So generally speaking, I would say that fabrics with a bit more body are going to hold the shape of that close-fitting darted bodice the best. The pattern recommends most cottons, poplin, lawn, chambray shirting, even quilting cotton. Wool blends with some structure can have that nice like vintage inspired look, or you could also go fancy with a brocade or a taffeta, so lots of options for fabric. I love leaning into those vintage vibes, so I have picked this gorgeous bright red cotton sateen from the Minerva core range. It has a gorgeous sheen to it. The color is so vibrant. So this one is 97% cotton with 3% elastane. So it's still a woven, but it's got like a nice amount of give to it. I really love that for that super fitted bodice, as well as for like the trumpet view of the skirt. It's also a great amount of body to it for holding the gathers of the dropped yoke skirt, also for getting some nice volume in the circle skirt as well. So whichever option you go for, I think this lipstick red would make such a great cotton sateen version of the night and day dress. My next pattern is a skirt. It is the Fiore by Closet Core Patterns. Now this one doesn't have 1,000 combinations like the other two, but it does have 3 distinct views and some really gorgeous details. So it is an A-line skirt that comes in 2 lengths and 3 views. So view A is a simple flared skirt with an invisible zip at the back. View B is my personal favorite. It is an asymmetrical wrap dress that buttons at the side and has just one single slash pocket at the hip. Then view C is a button-up skirt with a really unique curved patch pocket. So the angle of the skirt is similar through each of the views, but I think that each one is really its own wardrobe essential. So the printed Fiore comes in sizes US 0 to 20, which is a 33 to a 48-inch hip. This is a really great skill builder pattern. It is aimed at beginner sewists ready to level up their garment sewing, but the details of this pattern keep it really interesting for stitchers of all skill levels. Most light to medium weight woven fabrics will work really nicely for the Fiore. Fabrics like cotton and linen will give some nice like body and structure to show off that A-line silhouette. Drapier fabrics like viscose, crepe, or silk will be a bit breezier and a little bit softer. I think every wardrobe needs a chambray skirt, and the Fiore is a perfect pattern for it. So I have picked this Minerva core range yarn dyed cotton chambray. This is such a perfect blue color. It has like the easygoing vibes of like a denim-like fabric, but it's actually woven with this dark cobalt blue at the top, and then it's cut with the white threads coming in on the weft side or the selvage side. And the result is just so beautiful. I think it is such a pretty color for spring and summer. It's a really nice weight. So you could go for the simple and versatile view of view A with the back zip and the plain front. You could do kind of a more smart, artsy wrap style of view B, or keep it casual with the button front and fun patch pockets of view C. Either way, I think a chambray skirt, like maybe we need all 3 of them. like me too. I think I need all three versions in my closet in this gorgeous cotton chambray. So that brings us to our next category, versatility. So I have picked two dress patterns that I think you could revisit over and over again to make for any occasion. I've got a wrap dress and a shirt dress. So first up is the Sew Over It Georgie. This is a knit wrap dress with 2 sleeve and 2 skirt options. I think a jersey wrap dress is just such a great wardrobe staple. The shape is always going to look like chic and put together, but it's also really nice and comfortable. So the Georgie is a faux wrap style, meaning that the front crosses over at the bust, but the skirt is fully closed. I love that because you get like all the benefits and the full effect of a wrap without having to worry about any sudden changes to the weather, any wind situations. Plus, it's also a little bit easier to sew. The bodice is lined and it's finished with elastic on the inner neckline. So that's going to ward off any gaping you might have. You can also choose between a 3/4 length and long sleeves. For the skirt, there is a cute little gathered skirt or a smooth 3/4 circle skirt. Georgie comes in 2 size ranges. So there's UK 6 to 20. That envelope is for hips 34 to 48 inches. It's drafted for a straighter figure, and then the 18 to 30 envelope is for hips 48 to 60 inches, and that one's made with a fuller like bust and hip in mind. Sew Over It rates this one a difficulty of 2 out of 4, so for confident beginners. There's not really any like tricky techniques or anything, but you would probably want to have a couple knit projects under your belt. Fabric choice is probably going to depend on which view you're sewing. So you'll want to go for a sturdier, steady knit like a Ponte or a French terry for that circle skirt view. It's going to give it a little more structure. And to keep those gathers from getting any bulk, you'll want to look for a drapey knit like viscose or tencel jersey for that gathered skirt view. I've picked another Minerva exclusive print. This one is called Boudoir Bouquet. So it is a really soft and supple viscose jersey. It is 92% viscose and 8% elastane. So it's got some really nice recovery to it. I think the colors in here are so pretty. It's like all these pinks and purples on this dark petrol background. It is a floral print, but from far away, it can kind of read as an animal print. So I think that is super fun. And it has just like a really nice, like springy hand to it. It's not too slinky or clingy, but it's got a good weight and some really nice movement. I think this is so perfect for a versatile Georgie dress. I can imagine looking like really smart at the office, but also like chilled out, maybe with trainers and a denim jacket, but you could still like doll it up with some heels for something fancy. You just can't go wrong with a jersey wrap dress, and I think a Georgie in this fabric would be so beautiful. So next up I have a shirt dress. Like the wrap dress, a shirt dress fits just about any occasion. They are so versatile. There are so many great shirt dress patterns out there, but I've really fallen in love with the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra. So don't get me wrong, I love a classic shirt dress, but Lyra has a few like modern twists that I think are so fun. So we have the classic details of the collar and the collar stand, but then Lyra only buttons down to the waist of the bodice. So the gathered skirt is cut on the fold, and it comes with a couple of tier options to make it midi length. The shaping of the bodice has a really nice like boxy but not oversized fit. There's bust starts and an optional tie belt for shaping. Instead of the classic like placket pleated sleeve, Lyra comes with either a short sleeve option or an elasticated bishop long sleeve. Lyra comes in Tilly's full size range, so size 1 through 15 represents hips 33 to 61 inches. If you've not sewn shirt details before, this is a great pattern to get started. So it's an improver pattern. It recognizes that some of these skills are maybe beyond beginner techniques, but Tilly's instructions really hold your hand as you take on these new skills. Light to medium weight wovens are great for Lyra. So cottons like chambray, lawn, poplin are really great along with linen. If you want kind of a more bodied, boxier version. Then viscose and tensile are great if you want a little bit more fluidity and some swish to your lyra. For a bold yet versatile lyra, I have one of my favorite fabrics. This is the Meat Milk Sina Sheer Tensile Cotton. So it's half cotton and half tensile, and it's got this really, really beautiful woven in check design. I think this texture is so incredible. Like the lines of the opaque check like really bounce and pick up the light in different directions. It is so cool, and it just feels so good. Like it's really soft and light, but still has a nice amount of body and drape. I think this like bright frog green paired with the check give it kind of a cool and modern feel. I think paired with the lyra, you could get a look that is simultaneously like chill and relaxed, but would also be a bit of a statement piece in this color. I think it is so, so beautiful. Next up, I have a couple of patterns that I really love for leveling up your sewing. So I'm starting with one of my favorites. It is the Chalk and Notch Wren Blouse and Dress. So the Wren is a scoop neck bodice with bust darts and optional back fisheye darts for shaping. The blouse version hits at the mid hip, and then the dress version features a drop waist and a gathered panel. So the sleeves of the Wren dress, they're really the star of the show here. There's a short puff sleeve that has extra volume, so it's got gathering at the top around the shoulder, and then it like floofs out into a round lantern seam here, so there's like a top and a bottom sleeve piece. The long sleeve has less volume through the shoulder and the arm, but it also ends in this nice balloony bishop shape with that lantern seam again here, and then it finishes in a traditional cuff. The Wren comes in US sizes 0 to 30, so that is hips 35 to 59 inches. It also comes with a separate full bust pattern piece, which is really helpful for getting the fit right on a button front garment. So the Wren is rated intermediate. The short sleeve construction is pretty simple, but the cuff construction of the long sleeve view is pretty detailed, very satisfying to sew. And even more satisfying to sew is the stepped facing of the neckline. It is such a magical technique for getting a super clean finish on a corner facing piece. It's a bit of a mind bender, but once you get the trick down, you will want to use it on every other pattern. It is now my go-to finish, and to help you nail it, there is also a full video sew along from Chalk and Notch that you can find right here on Minerva on the Wren product page. For fabrics for the Wren, you'll want to stick to lightweight wovens like cotton lawn, voile, shirting, or chambray. Lightweight linens are also great, and if you want a softer, drapier vibe, fabrics like viscose, tensile, and silk work really nicely. I have picked a really fun print from the Minerva exclusive line. It is our Here Kitty Kitty 100% viscose challis. So I love an abstract print. These red and gray and white lines form little kitty cats on this black background. I feel like this is such a good print for like honoring my love of cats without being, you know, like too over the top about it. Because yeah, these abstract lines kind of like soften it a little bit. Plus the black background kind of makes it a little more elevated. The fabric itself is super soft. It's really drapey, and I love it for the long sleeve view of the Chalk and Notch Wren. So I have saved my favorite high value pattern for last. Cashmerette really blew me away with the release of the Miriam trousers. So many of us, myself included, struggle with fitted waistbands. My size fluctuates pretty often, even throughout the day. My waist spreads when I sit down, so often with a fitted waistband, I've got something that digs in when I am sitting and then falls down or shifts when I'm standing and walking. The Miriam trousers, though, have all the details that we love about a fitted pant with a solution to these waistband troubles. So hidden in the waistband is an extender that moves with your body to extend 3 to 4 inches as you sit, and then it contracts again to sit flush with your waist when you stand and move around. I think this is just a total game changer. Along with this brilliant innovation of the flexi waistband, the Miriam trousers also feature a zip fly, front slash pockets, straight legs, and optional back welt pockets. So Miriam comes in Cashmerette's full 0 to 32 size range. So the 0 to 16 envelope is for hips 35 to 46 inches. The 12 to 32 envelope is for hips 42 to 62 inches. If you happen to fall in that 12 to 16 crossover sizes, be sure to check out the sizing details because the two ranges are drafted for different body proportions. And for a better fit, both size ranges offer an extra pattern piece with a full seat adjustment already built in. The Miriam trousers do come with a standard waistband, so if you skip the flexi waistband system, it is a pattern suitable for an advanced beginner. The flexi waistband construction, though, is definitely considered an advanced technique. Now, fabric recommendations for the Miriam include wool or polyester suiting. Linen is also a great option for a more soft, summery pair of Miriam trousers. For the Miriam, I have this beautiful teal recycled polyester twill suiting. This is from our Minerva core range. It has a nice light drape to it. The twill weave is really pronounced, which is really beautiful. It has a nice sheen that kind of catches the light. I have gone for this teal colorway, but it also comes in a really sweet blush pink, as well as black, white, and navy. So this one is great for trousers because it is very wrinkle resistant. Now, as with any woven polyester fabric, I definitely recommend using a press cloth so you can get a nice firm press without any risk of scorching your lovely fabric. I love the idea of this teal twill suiting made up in the Miriam trousers. So those are my picks for my favorite high value patterns to boost your sewing practice. In the multiple variations category, I nominated the Megan Nielsen Protea capsule wardrobe set, the night and day dress from Charm Patterns, and the closet core Fiore skirt. For essential dress patterns, the Sew Over It Georgie and the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra are two big favorites for patterns that you can use to make for any occasion. And lastly, my favorite patterns with unique skill building techniques are the Chalk and Notch Wren blouse and dress with that stepped back facing neckline, and the Cashmere Miriam trousers with the innovative flexi waistband. Let me know in the comments below your favorite patterns, what you love about them. We love nerding out about all things sewing pattern details, and we would love to hear your thoughts. You can also check out more details from any of the patterns and fabrics that I mentioned. They are linked below. And if anything that we chatted about today caught your eye, don't forget to check out the Minerva Craft Club. You can sign up and save 10% on every Minerva order for the whole year. So that is all from me today. Be sure you're subscribed on YouTube, following on Minerva. We've got so much fun sewing content to share. We've got tutorials, inspiration, sew-alongs, and loads more coming your way. So hopefully we will see you again very soon. Until next time, happy making. Bye!